What's up, everybody? Well, I got another Lenovo Legion Go S with SteamOS and the Z1 Extreme chipset, and today, the game we will check out is the Testament of Sherlock Holmes. Definitely an interesting game. If you're into detective stuff, it's kind of like a go around and do detective work stuff. So, older game, should run just fine, and since SteamOS seemed like it was doing better with frame times, unless it had something to do with the chipset, this thing should get great frame times, and maybe it won't do those little hiccups that the Steam Deck was doing. But those might just be the way the game is. We shall see. Let's hop on in.
So we're gonna go ahead and do 1200p maxed out. Now, this one does a little bit better than the Atlas, but not as good as the Steam Decks. The Steam Decks, I would say, probably did the best, besides the small form factor PC, but that's kind of hard. You could have all of the other ones almost for the price of just that. But anyway, do the game.
What's this? No. Bow, bow, boop, boop. La la la. Ooh. Oh, look! It's a book! Maybe it's a book about pirates with a treasure map. No, I don't think so. I wish that I had seen through all your lies. Oh, start from the beginning, not the middle. And so I decided to pick up my pen to relate the most disturbing episode of my life thus far.
It all began early one morning in 1898, when Sherlock Holmes invited me to accompany him on a visit to the Marquis of Conyngham.
Watson, my dear fellow, we can now go and inform the Marquis that we have found the Samoan necklace, and very much faster than Inspector Baines, too, which pleases me.
Have you really solved the theft, Holmes? And so quickly?
I have indeed, Watson, and believe me, it was completely unnecessary to spread out all over London, as our friend Baines thought was best. He likes to boast that his methods are equal to mine, but once again the outcome has contradicted him.
After all these years of accompanying you upon your investigations, I thought that by now I should be reasonably capable of following your train of thought. But in this particular case, I must admit that I don't understand anything at all.
Ah, you see, but you do not observe, Watson. There lies the difference. It is a matter of course.
A matter of course? In the middle of the night, when everyone is fast asleep, the service bell within that room rings out and alerts the servants. They dress quickly and come running, but the door is locked and there is a strong smell of burning from within. A few seconds later, the master of the house himself, the robbed Marchioness's husband, the Marquis of Conyngham, arrives and unlocks the door using the sole key. A fire has started inside the room, but they have managed to arrive in time to put it out. It is at that moment that the Marquis realizes that the famous Samoan necklace, which had been safe within its glass cabinet only a few hours earlier, has now disappeared.
In order to explain, let us confirm my theory before the arrival of Inspector Baines.
This window was cut with a diamond. A clean, discreet piece of work. This is where the necklace was.
See how tiny the hole is, and not one fingerprint upon the window. All the windows are locked. They've not been forced. A mark, undoubtedly made by a diamond. Someone tried to cut the glass, but he was interrupted.
Therefore, the thief tried to escape through the window, but he was interrupted.
Let us examine the crumpled score. These sooty prints were left by a tiny hand.
I don't understand why these music scores are covered with soot.
Well, alright, just like on all the rest of the stuff, I wanted to leave the game and pop back in, but it seems like it has more stutters in the frame times than it did on the Steam Deck. Steam Decks were the smoothest so far, funny enough. I mean, for such an old game, you don't really need a lot of power, but hey, kind of funny how the weakest system I have so far has played the game the smoothest. But hey, let's do a quick load test, and maybe it'll play better not hooked up to a capture computer. Maybe it's the capture computer's fault. Because it seems a lot smoother now. Not quite as smooth as the Steam Deck, but I'd never be able to tell the difference now. So yeah, I must have just hated the capture computer for some reason. Anyway. We run.
Not very well kept, this aquarium. I can see a dead fish floating on the surface. A candle. It must have fallen from the chandelier.
This draft screen makes an ideal hiding place.
As the theft was committed at night, I conclude that the thief hid himself behind the draft screen and waited until he was alone in the room. Strange. There aren't any prints, yet I'm sure that the thief hid here. All the windows are locked. They've not been forced. All the windows are locked. They've not been forced. The chest wasn't opened. The necklace wasn't in it.
No, it still has some bigger frame time skips that the Steam Deck didn't have, like right there.
Heading towards his chosen escape route, probably the window,
So that's kind of funny.
the thief knocked over the stool, which then caught fire.
All of them
But
are still
why
completely
didn't he
playable,
try
don't
to
get me
put the
wrong.
fire
but
out at
it's
once?
just something I noticed.
Strange. There are some objects here that have been knocked over.
The fire started here, just
Oh.
beneath the bell pull.
Whoever pulled the
It is
cord would have
4:20.
had his feet in the fire, unless it was pulled
I almost
before
dropped my
the
lighter.
fire started.
Well, I did drop my lighter, but then I caught it and slammed it into the table, making an immense amount of noise.
Footprints. You are not going to get on your knees to examine them.
There is no need. It is soot. The servants must have trodden in it while they were putting out the fire.
Alright.
These documents are not very interesting, even though they're addressed to the Minister of Maritime Affairs.
The Marquis himself.
I think that's everything. We just have to look
When
at
the
the door and
servants
then I
arrived
think
at the door,
go to a
having
cutscene.
been alerted by the bell, they saw evidence of the theft and the fire, but they
Still,
didn't
this
see
thing's
the
doing better
thief.
than the Allies.
This door is very
The Allies
hard
were like
to
that
force.
kind of frame
The
time
Marquis
as
is
the
the
War
only
Wars,
person to
actually.
have the key.
Like the whole
The
time.
thief could not get out through here until eventually, when the door was opened by the servants.
Ah, Mr. Holmes, you're already here.
Quite.
Good morning, Inspector. You've arrived just in time.
Scotland Yard arrives like the cavalry, always in the nick of time. Ah, but I know that satisfied expression, Mr. Holmes. Have you already solved the case?
It's possible.
We have retraced the thief's rather unusual footsteps. He is a true acrobat. But what I cannot understand is that when the servants entered the room, there was no one to be seen. An acrobat, perhaps, but an invisible one? I do not think so.
The only explanation is that the thief escaped before the servants arrived. I don't know how, but there is no other way.
There is absolutely another way.
Half a point for the doctor, nil for the inspector.
I'm pleased to see that you find the situation amusing, Mr. Holmes. Very well then, explain.
Dr. Watson was correct when he mentioned acrobatics, but he is mistaken about the nature of the acrobat. As for you, Baines, you're quite incorrect, as the thief was in the room when the servants entered.
Explain, for heaven's sake, Mr. Holmes.
Watson, how could a thief be missed in the middle of 8 men?
I don't know. Because he is very small? Stop teasing us, Holmes.
Exactly, because
He is
he is
small.
small and remarkably agile,
You're thinking of a monkey?
and a trained monkey at that, without a doubt, a Leontopithecus rosalia from Central America. The animal had been hidden inside the room for several hours, calmly awaiting the signal from his master. Once night had fallen and the room was empty, a high-frequency whistle alerted the monkey that it was time to begin the procedure for which he had been trained. The monkey emerged from his hiding place and used the point of a diamond to open the glass cabinet and steal the necklace. He headed across to the window by the chimney, but knocked over the stool, which in turn knocked aside the fire guard and started the fire. The frightened monkey jumped from the chimney by swinging from the bell pull, thus alerting the house servants. He then went to the window and began to use his diamond to cut a hole, but was interrupted by the staff trying to gain entry via the door, and he panicked again. He ran across the piano, scattering the music scores onto the floor, before hiding inside the chandelier, knocking over a candle. Finally, the servants and the Marquis entered the room, leaving the door open while they put out the fire. It was during the confusion that our agile little thief made his escape through the doorway. As simple as that.
A brilliant explanation. Bravo, Holmes.
And the necklace?
I can see it from here, my friends. It's right in front of us.
We have searched the room from top to bottom, Holmes. How were we unable to find it?
Because we paid insufficient attention to the only victim of this affair.
What victim? No
Now I
one
need
is
to pay
dead?
closer attention to this
Yes,
thing,
Watson.
because
A poor goldfish.
it fricking ends
whose
up
destiny
being
was to
fake,
die,
apparently, later, and they
crushed by
blame
one of
me
the most
and say
precious
I
necklaces
stole the real
in
one and put a
England.
fake. But I'm pretty sure this one doesn't look like the
The
one that
aquarium
they
is just beneath
bring
the
me later.
chandelier. I understand.
The little monkey
Truth be told, I
had
don't really
lightly
let you
hung
get a
the necklace
light
around its
screw
neck
crazy
and lost
look
it
at
when
it.
he leapt from the chandelier. The jewels fell into the aquarium, where they remain now.
No, all of the things are the same size, same color. No, that is absolutely real
Here
right
is your
now.
necklace, intact, just a little wet.
Mr. Holmes.
And
this
that's why
brilliant
he
demonstration
said, yeah,
is
that's
credit to
real.
your reputation.
I'm pretty sure the other dude would have looked at it as
Do
fake and
you
was
wish
like, what are you
to
talking about? That's
verify
fake as
the
shit.
authenticity of your jewel?
No, I recognize
Anyway,
it.
though,
I
I think
spent
that's more than good.
hours
Why don't we
admiring it.
wrap up? Well, alright guys, that's a wrap for The Testament of Sherlock Holmes on the Lenovo Legion Go S with SteamOS and the Z1 Extreme chipset. And it still had some weird frame time hiccups. Not as bad as the Allies, but yet not as smooth as the Steam Deck. So far, the Steam Deck played the game the most flawless, funny enough. But for an older, like PS3, Xbox 360 kind of game, you don't really need power. Even the Steam Deck is very, very, very much more powerful than all those. So something like this is even more powerful than that. But it still didn't give us a smoother experience. But either way, that's all for the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. Wished I could give you a peace out properly with that hand, but not yet. So, a left-handed peace out it is, and until the next video.